welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about my natural water birth experience as a Black mother. Our experiences giving birth could be pretty different. So yeah, I was so excited to share this, and I had so many questions, so hopefully I can get into all of them before this video times out. But I'm excited, so let's get into it. Okay, so first off, let me just say that any mom that gives birth anyway is a superwoman. Like, we sacrifice our bodies for 9 months, and if you continue to breastfeed after you have had your baby, that's even more of a sacrifice. My first daughter, this is my second baby. This is the big 9-pound baby. But my first baby I had her at a hospital. I didn't know much about a water birth or a natural birth or even other birthing options. So, but I'm blessed to have her and still be here, and now I have him, and I've had both experiences. So, to get straight into the questions, because I don't want to waste too much time. The first question, I had you guys do a Q&A on Instagram, and I told you I would answer your questions, so that's what this is. So the first question is from Charming Charlie, and she says, so did being in the water help with the contractions? I wouldn't say it helped with the contractions. I fully felt them. There's no numbing or anything done by water when you're giving birth. I wish it was, but no, you feel everything. I would say water relaxes your muscles, and it makes it a little bit easier for you to move around and get in better positions, and it makes you lighter. Because I know, like, I was pretty big, so me holding myself up to get in a squatting position, which is the position that I had him, probably would have been harder if I wasn't in the water. You feel like super light and, free, and it relaxes your muscles like a hot bath. The water is pretty warm, so it's kind of like a hot bath, like how that relaxes your muscles and just makes your body feel good. That's what it does for you during labor, but it doesn't take away any pain from the contractions. So Kai and DJ Mom says, I wanted to do it for years, but I didn't know where to begin. What's the experience like? So really, the experience is amazing because you are in complete control of everything, as compared to my hospital experience. My previous hospital experience, I didn't get to voice my opinion on anything. Like, I didn't get to choose a lot of things. I didn't get to, like, have control over what was happening to my body. Cervical checks, Pitocin. Of course, I said yes to these things, but with being in a natural state of mind and like a natural space, you're free to think better, I would say. So the experience just opens your mind about the way certain things will affect you and your baby. I would say having total control truly empowered me. Like, I felt like super mom. I felt like I was just in control of everything. And I feel like that's beautiful when you're giving birth, because, like, it is your body. It is your baby. Like, I feel like you should make the final decisions. For example, cervical checks. I got one cervical check, and my midwife asked me did I want another one to see how far I was right before I gave birth, and I let my body lead me. It was very spiritual. Like, I was meditating and I was singing, and I had the lights dim, and I had the little they were like fake candles, because you can't have real candles. The fake candles lit. My husband was like massaging my back every time I had a contraction. My midwife would too. either one of them, they would switch off. But I mean, that the experience was, to like sum it all up, it was empowering, and it was just amazing. It was a beautiful experience. So the next question, who was in the water to catch him? So I was the only one in the water. It wasn't any specific reason why, but that's just how it happened. I was the only one in the water. He came rather quick. It wasn't like a long process. It took a few pushes, and one push, that last push, he just bloop, flopped out, and my midwife, I really just said bloop, and my midwife caught him. So I had two midwives, but my main midwife caught him, and I immediately grabbed him. So I felt his head, and she was like, just one more push, and boom, he was out, and she caught him. Like, it was a fast catch. You can tell she is a professional because she caught him really fast, and the whole thing was really fast. And they had to like lift my leg up in order for me to get him, because I was in a squatting position, and he came like immediately after I pushed. Sabrina Capos _ said, did you prepare yourself mentally? How was it compared to Kylie's birth? Kylie is my 18-month-old daughter. Of course, I definitely had to prepare myself mentally. The whole experience, now that I look back at it, the whole experience was like mind over matter. Like, literally, the pain, everybody's like, oh, you didn't feel any pain? Hell yeah. I felt pain. Like, I felt a lot of pain, but like my mental was, I'm doing this for us. Like, this is the route I chose, so we're gonna do this, and we're gonna be safe. Yeah, like, my mind, I mentally prepared in weeks before. I do yoga regularly, but prenatal yoga was kind of, well, very important in my pregnancy, because that was my time to meditate. That was my time to release stress and fear, because fear is the biggest issue with birth, I think. Fear of pain. So when that pain comes, you have to have like a certain mental, or you are gonna say, give me that epidural every 20 minutes they come at you. You are, because that's what I did the first time. I honestly could have endured the pain with Kylie, but it was the fact that I was in the hospital and they were coming in every 20 minutes, not forcing me or anything, just like constantly asking me, and I'm laying in this bed on IV, literally just enduring the pain. So yeah, compared to the experience with Kylie, to answer your question, it was more so a mental difference, because my mindset was different when I went in to give birth to him. I knew what I wanted, and I knew the way it was going to happen, and I wasn't going to have it any other way. With Kylie, I was more open-minded. I was scared both times, but I wasn't really scared with him. I was more nervous of enduring the pain without an epidural. But yeah, my mental was totally different this time. With Kylie, I was more open-minded. I was less educated on different things about birth and the mortality rate for Black women in hospitals, and just different things with the epidural that I didn't research, but I just knew it was medicine and it would take the pain away, so I took it. And yeah, that was the difference. But she was also 7 pounds, so I definitely feel like it would have been easier having a natural birth with her. Chelsea Michaela _ says, can you explain the experience? So pretty much the same question. It was it was very spiritual. It was very empowering, and I would say it was very challenging. It wasn't easy. It was challenging because like I had to push myself mentally and physically, and I just got through it. Kai underscore and DJ Mom, and she says, painful question mark. What's the pros and cons? Very painful at the end. The whole time I was in labor, like my midwife did not think I was in labor. Like she thought I was crazy because she's like, your contraction, like I don't want you to go home because I lived an hour from the birthing center, but I don't think that you're in labor. And I'm like, I'm telling her, like, I'm listening to my body. My body is telling me, like, you're having this baby today. And although my contractions, I was fine. I was walking around, I was smiling. She's like, you're not in labor because you wouldn't be like smiling and all of this. And I'm just like, I'm in labor. So from 2 a.m. to 2 p.m., I'm in labor. Like I know I am. She checked me when I came in at 2 a.m. and I was 3 centimeters. By 2 p.m., I was 6 centimeters. But me and Devon, which is my husband, we went walking in the mall, in Frederick, Maryland. We're walking around to help him drop and just to, stay active, waste some time because we couldn't go home. And like the pain, I didn't feel those contractions. Like I felt like a little tingle, but like the contractions were not severe as compared to Kylie. Like I was in the bed ready to chop somebody's head off with Kylie, but with him it was like the contractions, I barely noticed them. And so we went back to the office, and she was just like, I don't think you're in labor. And she didn't want to do a bunch of cervical checks because they can introduce your baby and your vagina to infection. So knowing that she doesn't really do more than 4 of them. And that's if you want them. And I wanted it just to like kind of prove to myself like we're in active labor because I was starting to believe like that I wasn't in labor because I wasn't really affected by the contractions. But when she checked me, I was further dilated than she thought, and she's like, well, yeah, you're just gonna stay here, but to get things rolling, because I had literally been there from 2 to 2 p.m. She asked me, did I want her to either break my water or to just let things be. So I had her break my water. Same thing with Kylie. But to answer your question, because I'm getting way off, I don't have any cons other than the epidural versus natural. So the ring of fire is real. It's like this sensation that you get when the baby is crowning and the head is coming out. It's this burning sensation that is real. Like, it is real. I did not feel that with Kylie. So that's literally the only con that I have for a natural birth. Everything was beautiful. And then the pro of going to a hospital and getting an epidural, you don't feel any of that. So, but there's cons to the epidural that we're not even going to get into on this video. But yeah, basically my only con was feeling the ring of fire. And all pros, like my midwives, I love them. They are amazing. Frederick, Maryland Birth Center, the best experience ever. my midwife Michael, we have been through a lot of ups and downs with due to COVID and some other things she had going on with the birth center and Maryland Health Department. It's just a lot of different things going on during my whole pregnancy, so I didn't even know if I was going to have my birth at a birthing center. But everything worked out, and she's been amazing, and her assistant Sarah was amazing. The nurse, I think her name was Brittany, she was amazing. I didn't know her before my actual labor, but I did get introduced to her, and she was amazing. We had an observer midwife come in just for a second. She was really nice, and she made me feel like I was doing something amazing. So yeah, my experience was totally uplifting and positive and amazing. So I don't have any cons, but those are the pros. And you get to eat during labor. That's a pro. Like, I was eating my whole labor. I had Jersey Mike's, I had drinks, I had chips, everything. Like, I was just enjoying my labor. Eating, I had granola bars. Like, I was eating my whole labor, and it felt good. What made you decide to do a water birth? Basically, I didn't enjoy 2 reasons. Well, actually more than 2 reasons, but to keep it short, 2 main reasons. The epidural was scary. It still is scary. It's very risky, and COVID was the second reason. I didn't want to be tempted with an epidural because I knew I could do it without an epidural. And COVID, I didn't feel comfortable going into a hospital. I just didn't. That's me. I already don't like hospitals at all. So I didn't want to bring a baby in the world in a hospital. I didn't want to be stuck in a hospital for 3 days. Yeah, so that's the reason that I went with that. And from Lola 14, she said, honestly, this is my goal birth, but I don't know anyone that has done it, especially a chocolate girl, black girl. How was it? So kind of just explain how it was, but I totally agree with you on the statement that you don't see it with a lot of black women. And there's reasons for that. We aren't very educated on it as a whole. I know, like, now I am, but 2 years ago I wasn't. I'm not saying every black woman is not educated, and I'm not saying anything like that, but natural birth isn't something that I grew up knowing about at all. So it was something very foreign to me, and it was something that I had to take time out to research and decide to do. So it's one of those things that you don't see every day with a black woman. When you do see it, you know, you're amazed by, you know, that they did it. But the mortality rate for black women giving birth in a hospital, mostly C-section, is extremely high, and that scared me this time around because I knew that this time around. I didn't know that with Kylie, so it scared me, and it kind of forced me to do my research and look at my other options. So yeah, that's that on cultural stand as far as water birth. That's my opinion. I just don't feel like it's that normal in our community, and me personally, I want to educate as many women as I can so that it is more normal, at least in my surroundings, that it is more normal to have a natural birth at a birth center or at home, in the water, or just naturally. So Sabrina Campos asks, how was the pain? Did you think, OMG, give me an epidural? um, the pain was, like I said, my contractions were not bad at all. Literally, I got in the water and everything changed. I wouldn't say it got more painful, but I was in the transition period. It's very quick, but it's very painful to give you information, like a detailed version. Basically, the transition is when the baby is coming out, like when you're pushing. So it's very short, usually no longer than 2 hours for women. From what I've researched, it could be from 7 minutes to 2 hours. But I had a really quick 10-minute birth with Kylie, but that was epidural, so I can't really compare the two. But this time, I was not thinking about an epidural. I was thinking about getting this baby out of me so this ring of fire could cease and this pain could go away. And I knew it's very important to do research on whichever way you choose to give birth, because I knew about the transition period and I knew it was a short period, and I knew that if I mentally pushed myself, that I could physically just push this baby out in a matter of minutes. And I did that. I pushed him out in less than 30 minutes because I wanted to take my time. But once his head crowned, I was ready for him to come out. So _Brit with AC, did your vagina split after the water birth? So basically, was there any tearing? Yes, I had 2nd-degree tearing, which is pretty severe tearing. But he was 9.13 pounds, so it's not abnormal for me to have that type of tearing. I'm 3 weeks postpartum, and I'm sitting here normal. I don't have any extreme pain or anything like that. So yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. The stitches were a little irritating, but I had stitches with Kylie as well. So from Pretty Browns Keys _ how did you handle the pain? Pretty much like what I just said with the previous question. It was like my mental just had to be set. Like I did research, I meditated, I did yoga, I walked, I ate certain things, dates, flaxseed, I drank a lot of water. Like this pregnancy, I wasn't as active, I'll say that, because I wasn't working, and COVID, I was pretty scared to go anywhere. So but yoga and like meditation, but during labor, I kid you not, like music is really everything, because like the music, I was just in my own zone. Like, of course, I was interacting with my midwives and my partner, but I mean, like, music really made everything better. Like, I just zoned out. I made a playlist of my favorite artists. It was like India Arie, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, like a bunch of R&B, my R&B favorites. And I mean, it was just the music that got me through it, I swear. Like, I didn't feel like my mind was there. Like, like my mind left my body, if that makes sense. Like, I just focused on the music. I was singing, like I was walking around, I was bouncing on my exercise ball. It really just changed the game. So definitely music if you do birth naturally or whatever. Music definitely helped me handle the pain. Breathing, cannot forget breathing. I had a doula, Danielle, and she sent me a lot of information on breathing, and breathing definitely, probably before the music, breathing. And also Davon, my husband, would put pressure wherever I was feeling a contraction. So the contractions moved from my stomach to my back till I was having back labor. So it wasn't intense, but it was like sharp. Like I could feel it the further I got. And he would put pressure and massage. Like we hugged, like he held me, just different things that comfort you physically. Food, drinks, like they all helped me cope with the pain. To answer your question, underscore Brit with AC, did it hurt? Yeah. NE7ISH asked, how was it compared to your first? How did it feel compared to your first birth? Kind of same question as before from another person, but basically it was, I felt everything, and I felt everything spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Right before I had him, I just like burst out in tears. I wasn't in pain. They weren't from pain. They weren't from like fear. It was just like an awakening. It was my body telling me like we're about to begin transition. So I mean, I did the same thing with Kylie, but they told me I was about to have Kylie. Like they was, all right, let's get it moving. This time it was my body leading me, like with no guidance, and this baby was ready to come, and I just like gushed out in tears. My midwife was like, are you okay? Like it's no fear. And I'm just like, no, it's just this bottle of emotion that happens sometimes when right before you have your baby. But it definitely felt, I use this word already, but I can't get rid of it because it's literally how I feel. It was empowering. Of course I felt good giving birth the first time, and like I said, any way you give birth is amazing. But for me to endure every stage with no medicine, no intervention, I felt empowered. I felt super strong. I just felt like I ran a marathon all by myself. Like it was amazing. It was empowering. I was afterwards, I couldn't help but like smile and just be happy, because even now, like I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for the pain and everything, the aftermath, the postpartum healing, everything. So it was empowering. To answer your question, how did it feel compared to Kylie's birth? It was more empowering. And physically, I felt everything. So yeah. From lover underscore scandals 20. OMG, how was it? Like I just said, it was empowering. It was very spiritual, emotional, and physical. Imani Arian, I hope I said that right. No question, so proud of you. You were able to endure a natural water birth. Thank you. Thank you. Like I've talked to so many moms and moms to be, and you know, they praise me for doing it and being mostly the first person they've seen do it that they know, or you know, a black mom actually do it. And it's flattering, but it was literally, it just had to happen. Like something took over me and I didn't even know what it was. So but thank you. Probably gonna be the last question because I don't want to make this super long. Did your insurance cover you getting a midwife or doula, a midwife and doula, or did you pay out of pocket? So everything was partial. Doulas are not covered under insurance because they're not medical professionals. they are support people, so I guess the insurance companies don't feel like they don't feel like they are necessary, which they definitely are, especially for first-time moms. We're almost done. Almost done. My birth center was partially covered, not fully. It just depends on your insurance and the birth center, who they network with. But no, they didn't cover the doula, but my midwife is a part of the birth center, so yes. Insurance did cover some of my birth center and my midwife and everything. Birth center births usually range from about $5,000 to $12,000. Most of the time, they accept insurance. So I got to answer most questions, not all. But I'm hoping that this video answering these questions, kind of, if you are a mom to be, or want to be a mom, or just want to be educated on it. I hope that this kind of sheds light on subject for Black women, for women in general, but especially like Black women, women of color, that you can do this, and it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all, but like a made-up mind and support, the right midwives, the right doula, and the right partner or family support. But yeah, so I'm now a mom of 2 under 2 until January, and I love it. It's been amazing. I've had a lot of support, of course, from my husband. He's been amazing, and family and friends. My friends have been extremely amazing. I mean, I feel undeserving of it sometimes, how amazing my friends are, but yeah, the experience has just been awesome. And like I said, I hope to just shed light on the subject of natural birth for Black women and women of color, and that it's possible, you know, like, you can do it. It's not crazy as you think. But I hope to have some more videos coming out soon about being a mom of 2 under 2, and hopefully some day in the life videos. I've never done one of those before, and I want to try to see if that's something that I can do with 2 kids during a pandemic, you know. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe and like this video.